What's going on, Juneteenth family?
I have to take the lead because if I don't now, when will I do it?
These are all dance groups mixes from since 90.
And risks are important. Risk creates results.
Make sure that you surround yourself with not only the word, but with positivity.
Foremost, for having me on for lunch and learn.
We start off by wearing all of the hats. Pun intended right there with the hats.
But we start special needs children and civilians.
I have over 30 years plus experience as a quality professional.
We basically reconstructed what we took part in deconstruct all of street maintenance. That's how we came up with street maintenance.
I almost had to deal with MCA Records at the age of 19.
Wait a
I also partner with other daycares. We're not in a competition yet. We're not in a competition.
Hello, everybody. It is our famous Thursdays. I don't know what makes it famous. It's just that it's Thursday and we're on. It is our Lunch and Learn Thursdays. My name is Athenia Rodney, CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC, and I am super excited for us to be here on today, another Thursday. And guess what? It's the first Thursday in September. So we in Virgo season. My husband just had his birthday. Everybody in the world's birthdays is about to come up. So we are really excited. We have an amazing person joining us today. And the reason why I say he's amazing, one, because he's one of our advisory board members. We have been blessed. God has really been blessing us to bring some audacious talent into our space. And for those who are part of CCC, that was our word like 2 or 3 years ago, but I've still been using it because audacious just really defines who this young man is. So I'll tell you a little bit about who he is, and our topic today, which I thought was really interesting, is politically urban. He has So I'll start. Quinnell, he's 28 years old, from Yonkers, New York. So that's one of those places where people are like not really from New York City, but I'm gonna give it to him. Yonkers is like that borderline space. He's spent the past 7 years creating impactful designs for small businesses. His work aims to unite Black men and women through fashion. Like, that is really amazing, especially after our dope fashion show that we had last year. I'm looking forward to see what he can bring to the table with his love for Black men and women in fashion. He also brings a unique voice to the industry, which is also because he's a designer. So he has a design called Black Love Collection, which is where his politically urban theme is coming up, which is set to launch October 20th. So that is coming up really soon. And we want to hear a little bit more about it. So let's welcome Quinnell Williams to the stage. Welcome.
Hey.
Hello, how are you doing?
Appreciate you. Thank you very much. I love the intro. Thank you.
No problem. So Yonkers, really? Yonkers? Still give you so great. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Me. I'm a kid from Yonkers who I'm 28 years old as of right now. My goal is really to build a brand that really brings us as a community together. I'm a graphic designer by trade. From being a graphic designer by trade, that really gave me a whole unique perspective, no fashion background. I'm just really here trying to really push really a message to really just be a part of the bigger scheme of just bringing our people together. That's really what my goal here is. I feel it's my purpose to really use that with my art. So I'm just here, trying to be just a part of the solution and not the problem. So So,
Well,
yeah.
that in itself is dope. I mean, Juneteenth NYC is all about unity in the community. So I am grateful to have you on board, and to know that our missions definitely align in that space. What inspired you to create the Black Love Collection, and what message do you hope it conveys to the community?
Um, it wasn't until college I started to get into like my Black consciousness stuff, like really just listening to the different Black voices. Social media was popping, reading a book called "The Black Banks and the Racial Wealth Gap," really trying to understand that. My parents didn't really give that to me. I had to um, really do that for myself. So originally, politically urban just started as a way to express art, but I just saw that from watching social media, my own personal relationships, just seeing how there's really a divide. I feel in my own little bubble, just between Black men and women, and so I just wanted to. And plus, I didn't really see any fashion brand that really highlights us, because I feel like anytime we do a brand or anything, we try to make sure to always broaden our demographic, and we also try to make sure that we don't say Black. I remember I've even heard, like, even when you put Black, or when oh, sorry, yeah, no, so when you say Black, it
That was
devalues.
funny. You said when you say Black, and then the whole screen went black.
Yeah. So when you say Black, I've been told in the industry, I watched the interview with Actively Black. He was talking about his people saying when you say the word Black in a business, or you're trying to target that, deteriorates the brand. I don't believe that. I just think we don't give ourselves enough credit, enough value, and I just think we have to make sure that we do that, because I think we shortchange ourselves. And so from there, from going to college, bachelor's degree from being graphic design for my senior project, was able to create the brand from scratch, logo, everything, because we had to create something for our senior project. That's where it came from. And I've just been, as I've learned more about my history, more about my community, art has just come to me. Instagram and Pinterest are big inspirations, but I just really want to capture, to show that I'm not really big on just the individual. Like, we have to come together if we want any, I believe, community progress. I think society pushes individualism, which is cool for a certain period of time, but I feel like in order for us to really build, we have to really do it together. So I just always want to show that in my art, and really try to show something that I really haven't seen in fashion, really.
So you talked about a couple of things. One is I definitely want to touch on what you were sharing about, like the naming things and putting Black, or I went to, and I know this is one of the taboo names to say right now, but when I went to an event last year, Puffy was there, and he had presented and talked about using the word urban when he was producing his beverages, like oh my gosh, Alizé and stuff like that, when it was coming out. And then when he went to do another brand, he didn't want to, like, he refused to use the word urban in it, because he felt like it limited what the amount of money that could be charged for it if it had the term urban connected to it, versus it just being for general public consumption. And that made me beg to understand, why do we have such this negative connotation when we talk about urban, or when we talk about Black, right? And that was, again, a part of, for me, with Juneteenth, how we change the narrative around what Black is. Like, Black is not all about this negative connotation. But there are amazing things. There's so many amazing things that have come out of being a Black person. And it's like, why, how can we change our minds so that we can disassociate it with it being negative associations, and with it being more high vibrational? So I say that to say, I know you have your clothing line that's coming out, which is called Politically Urban. So talk a little bit about that, and how you, being a graphic designer, has influenced that.
Well, the name, I guess you want to talk about the name. The name, honestly, it came to me, but what I can say is the meaning has changed. So it stands for Politically Unified Requires Bond and Nurture. That's what it represents. So being a graphic designer, I mainly now have the perspective of just designing the art. I necessarily had to learn the apparel skill, like from whether it was how fabric works, printing on fabric, textiles, all that different stuff. But being a graphic designer, I pretty much, what is it? You kind of it's kind of like a little cheat code, because it's like, okay, you may not have the art of sewing or stuff like that, but you still understand design and you have the eye for it. And also, I feel like I also don't really like simple clothes. Like I know a lot of people do in clothing, it's about the fabric, the stitching, the basicness of it. I just feel like if it's art, like I want to put art. I feel like the shirt is a canvas. I feel like there should be art on it. Not just a logo and a name. I mean, I guess we'll talk about that later about a lot of urban brands using that. I feel like I had a conversation with somebody. I feel like we shortchange ourselves. I think we talk about us being the sauce and us being the culture, but I don't think we really act that way. Because if you think about it, if we're the sauce, if we're the trend, we should be the top consumer and everybody follows. If that's how you're presenting the argument. We're the culture. We're what makes it cool. We're the trend. So if we're the trend, everybody's gonna follow naturally. If that's the definition of what we keep saying what we are. But I just feel like when they get into these rooms, they don't see us. When they get into these rooms, also, I don't know who partnered with Puffy. I don't know if he did it, from the ground up. I don't know if he partnered with somebody. I don't know if, because they're going based off of, data, and they're going based off of what they see either potentially our people could buy or whatever. And I remember one person told me years ago, I want everybody's money, but all money, I don't think you need everybody's money. All money's not good money. And if we're going to go based off that narrative, then why do we tell business owners to have a target audience? There's so many different things I don't understand. But hey, I'm just a designer. So
and not just a target audience, but how do we have a niche audience? And this is your, the audience that you are niche. I just wanted to, because I want to recap for the people. Can you say what urban stands for again, and politically urban?
Yes. It stands for politically unified, requires bond and nurture.
Politically unified requires bond, like bonding something,
yes,
and
bond.
Nurture.
Yes.
That is really dope. That's deep. That's really deep. So urban requires bond. So unified requires bond. So to be unified, you need to be bonded, linked to other people, and you need to nurture the relationships that you're also bonding to, so that it's not just a take, but it's a give and take relationship. Am I on the right track?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And so that's really how I wanted to look from a standpoint of just us, and specifically, like I said, just us as Black men and women, really just zeroing in, whether it's platonic, romantic, just knowing that we have to bond, we need each other. The only way we're going to move forward in any industry, whether it's general, whatever, we have to be on the same accord. It doesn't mean we have to agree on everything, but we have to at least be aligned, right?
I definitely agree. There was one more thing that I wanted you to go back to, the Black Banks social wealth gap. Like what do you know who the or racial wealth gap? Do you know who the author is? Do you remember?
Book a while ago. I can't tell you at the top of my head.
Okay, I'll see if I can look it up while you're talking. Don't worry about it. But can you talk a little bit about what you learned in that book? Because I've been on a book hunt lately, and we are actually going to be starting as part of our advisory group. I want us to do some reading of some books together, because that's part of that bonding that you're talking about, and that nurturing each other, where we are learning about some things to help elevate us collectively, because some people might have read certain things and some people didn't. So I think that would be great. So I'm curious to know a little bit more about the book. What can you share some high level thoughts about your experience reading the book?
Yes, so it really kind of gives you a real walk through history. That's the book where I learned that like I said, I was very naive, like black people being the first kind of currency. It talks about how reparations is not a new thing. Reparations was given, but it just wasn't given to us because we were considered property. I didn't know that. I didn't know reparations was ever given until I read that book, which is why it's important, as I've learned over it, to really indulge in text and research and read. But so reparations is not a foreign concept to America. It's happened before. And it talks about how, yeah, the actual slave masters, um, they got, as you can say, repaired for technically us as property that they lost, but we didn't get anything because we're, I think, 3/5 of a person at the time. It talked about um, throughout time, like the New Deal. There's so many things that we were really left out of that. I mean, it even talks about the concept of companies, credit companies preying on us because now we got to finance couches because we don't have the full capital. We got to finance little appliance certain things. It talks about just the whole financial system of like how if you really are not informed, you really think this is all just individualized decisions, but it's like a system it's like a hand-in-hand thing. It's like you take accountability, but you have to look at the other side. I didn't really know the other side of how a system really is done and how our banks were based off of, you know, what we can galvanize in churches. And it's important for us to pool our resources together, but it talks about we're missing the step of it turning into a Bank of America. A Bank of America is just a combination of other banks, but it can only do that if the capital is multiplied. It can't just sit there and be great. It has to multiply in a way where, which also I learned about the stock market. What banks do, the reason why they have all these billions and billions of dollars of assets is they take your money as a civilian, they throw it into they have institutional trading and regular trading, throw it into the market and multiply it. That's how banks have all these billions and billions of dollars in assets, because they multiply the money into the market. Obviously, they loan out your money, but when it's our banks, our money can't multiply like that because either people are withdrawing it, because that's another thing. You're having a big influx of deposits and then you're putting in the money. But if people are putting in little small donations and then they're ripping and then they're taking it away, there's no money on reserve to continue to it keeps circulating. So the money just disserrates. It doesn't multiply.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. Like,
now I'm definitely interested. Is this the book here?
Yes.
The Color of Money,
Yes.
Black Banks, and the Racial Wealth Gap.
Yes.
It's funny you say that because one of the things, I went to a predominantly white school, which was Middlebury College in Vermont. And then I did a domestic exchange at Spelman College. And one of the things that I saw that was a drastic difference between both of the schools was the endowment. I never really heard the word endowment before. Like it wasn't, but at my school in Middlebury, they talked about endowments all the time. So what I did is I joined the groups. I joined the endowment organizations so I could learn more about it. And what I learned is that they never really use their money. They never use their actual money. They only use the interest of the money the interest of what their money is making. So if they have $1 million in the bank, that $1 million never changes. That $1 million will always be there. What they create scholarships and other use to like pay salaries and stuff like that is based off the interest that their money that's already in the bank is making. Versus when I was at Spelman, their endowment was much smaller, and so they had to actually use their financial gain to pay their salaries and to do things. So basically in that space, what you're saying is, if the economy ever has a major hit, those who are using the actual physical money are the ones who are going to be hit most or first before someone who is using their residuals income. We have someone on IG. When we created our own Black American market, then we could get somewhat ahead. But we got to be strategic about it because we've tried to create our own markets. We've tried to create our own banks. And in so many spaces, those things were either we were duped into it, or we were or it was burnt. Like there's so many cities who were thriving cities and thriving communities that eventually ended up being burnt down because of people seeing, oh, they coming up too fast, or they taking money from us, or those challenges that were in that space. So we can take that down. Thank you for sharing that. And we'll also drop the link in the chat. So people can, if they're interested in getting a book, you definitely can. I'm an avid Audible reader, so I definitely will be looking to download it onto my Audible for sure. But that was a long way around. So thank you for sharing that. But you kind of threw it out there, and it was like a passerby, and I was like, these are things that we really want to impress upon, and especially in our community, because we don't talk about money often, and we don't talk about how money is being dealt in different spaces. So definitely love to have conversations around that. So you started to talk a little bit about some of your challenges, and I want to hear some more, especially you being a young Black entrepreneur in the fashion industry. What have you felt have been some of the challenges for you?
The biggest challenge to me is many challenges, like access to whether it's mentorship. I think it's been the biggest one, but I mean, I don't know if I, as a Black entrepreneur, have to say capital again, because I mean, capital is a big thing. But what I've just realized is also, as fashion, like we have like our kind of little cliques, like we kind of have these little rivalries. I'm considered, not authentic because I get my clothes pre-made and then I decorate, versus people who do it from scratch. So there's a little rivalry there. But it's really just the access to materials. I would say with research I kind of figured out, but it's really learning the marketing aspect of how to really get the brand out there. But it's also the means of production. Like right now I have to do print on demand because I don't have the full-on capital to make sure that, okay, we have this amount of inventory, because we still have to test the market. Okay, this amount of inventory, we know it won't sit, because with clothes, it has kind of a shelf life, not fully, but you want to make sure your clothes stay as fresh as possible. You don't want to have inventory just sitting. So I would say capital and mentorship is the biggest thing, because it's like you can have somebody give you advice, but I've just realized they kind of either have to have done your lane, or they kind of have had to they either have had to do your lane or something really like very similar. Because I mean, in the fashion space, I feel like there's so much different information, and I'm a YouTube researcher, self person, and it's so much information, so much ways of doing things, how to do it, and it's like it's so hard to pick. And then it's like you have to, this is not a business I would recommend anybody to do by themselves. That's another thing. When I did it myself, I was, again, very naive. I was like, we're gonna put some design on shirts, we're gonna send it to people, we're gonna just, this is about some years ago, so Instagram is still kind of popping. There's no TikTok, right? So it's like, let's just throw it on Instagram. And I did that, but understanding you have to have a strategy, understanding that your paperwork, your LLC, knowing sales tax, knowing the back office stuff. It's not just about having product and selling it, protecting your artwork, right? Protecting the artwork, things I didn't really know that's important that you're supposed to do before you even go to market. Because a lot of times people told me to do it backwards, but something told me not to do that. So when I researched and got information, it's like, let me make sure that, because then you don't want to, when you're doing a business, you don't want to just, I would say either you're going to get it trademarked and done this stuff before, or if you're going to do the whole method of doing it after, like do it literally right after you get like your first proof of concept. Like if you go to a pop-up and you're selling a lot, like get it really done. Like don't wait until you've made a substantial amount of money, or you're on TikTok and your shit goes viral and somebody done took it and now you want to get the trick, because by that time it's too late. But I would tell people, believe in yourself, do the necessary nuts and bolts first, And I would say also make sure you understand capital, as we talked about before, because I would tell people it's better to make mistakes with money than without, right? It's better to make, because it's like, okay, you can also try, because there will be a trial and error. But if you have mentorship, if somebody's willing to do it for free, take it. But most of the time you do have to, whether it's barter or you have to give out some type of money. But the challenges for me has been the marketing, knowing where to market. Because people just tell me pull up just to a vendor spot, but does that have the audience? Because I be at places where it's packed, but is anybody buying anything?
Right, that part. That part.
I don't want to, like my own people, because I don't want to say the name of the event, but I was at a Black event, and it's a big art event, and people are there, and these people got $1,500, $2,000 paintings. They creating art, and then it's like people just sitting there having drinks, having a good time. It's like we're here to commune and we're listening to the music, but we got to make sure that this product is sold. But yeah, go ahead.
No, you're definitely talking about, and this is one of the things, and this is not even a plant, y'all. Like, this is definitely like, I feel like I'm like, you're just rolling right into so much. That's one of the major things that we talk about with Juneteenth NYC when we talk to our vendors is I could easily just be like, oh, we have 30,000 people that have come to our event, just give me your money. But I am in a space of, is this the right place for you? Is this where your customers are going to be? Is this going to be a space that you feel like you're going to walk away and you're going to feel successful? Because we've had people come and people be upset. They're like, oh, it was a lot of people here, but I didn't make my money back. And I'm like, so let's talk about that. What were you doing? Let's look at some pictures. Let's look at some videos of the event. I look at pictures. I see you sitting down. You're not engaged. I see you, your products, you got products that's like $200, and we share with you the average ticket price is about $25 to $35. So you were coming to the space and you were expecting to sell a bunch of $200 items at an event where most people are average spending $25 to $30. That doesn't match. Like, you have to match your expectations with what the event is, and you have to make sure that you're, like you said, your target market is exactly where you are looking for it to be. Are the people who are going to purchase my items are looking for my products, and that, sorry to say, but that's where numbers comes in, and a lot of us don't know our numbers. I know we would sit there and watch. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of the show, but the Shark Tank. Tank, and you see people up there, and people are like, oh, you got to get on Shark Tank. You got to get on Shark Tank. And I will always say, nah, I'm not ready, because I ain't know my numbers. So I knew they wasn't going to eat me alive when I went on there, and I'm telling them like, yeah, I do this and you can do that and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, so what's your valuations and what's that? And so I had to learn. I was watching Shark Tank, and I would literally be sitting there. And now that I got AI, I'll be like, AI, what does valuation mean? How do I evaluate myself better? How do I this, that? Like we have to level up in so many different spaces. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about that. During the commercial break, we do have a couple of people who have joined in and chiming in. We are live on IG. So if you get a chance, share it out to a couple of your friends and family, tell them to join. This is a great conversation, y'all. We are talking about some real life situations that are affecting us overall. And we got this young Black man here and dropping some knowledge and some tidbits, and we want to keep it going. So if we can bring up the commercial from one of our sponsors, and then we'll be right back.
Essential, and so are you. Affordable healthcare is $0 monthly premiums and no deductible. Coverage for sick visits, tests, prescription drugs, hospital care, as well as free dental and vision coverage. Affordable healthcare is the Essential Plan. More New Yorkers than ever are now eligible for the Essential Plan. Apply today at nystateofhealth.ny.gov.
Awesome. We are back. Welcome back. That was a short commercial, but we because this we're going into our focus for Juneteenth on health and wellness and awareness. We want to share our partners who work with us on getting our community health insurance at low or reduced cost, low or no cost. So definitely, if you don't have any insurance, please get insurance. Like, there's so many things that can be prevented if we are going to the doctor and we are having conversations to let our doctors know what's going on with us. But I'm gonna get off my horse. I'm gonna jump back in. You do a lot. You are into fashion. You're doing designs. I know you've done some fashion shows and stuff like that. How do you balance your work as a graphic designer with the demands of running a clothing brand?
I'm actually still learning like my work-life balance. Like, there's days I'm either up doing a design here, where it's like some days I plan out like, okay, this is the politically urban stuff. This is just for this day. Sometimes it has to coincide with each other. Some days I'm like, okay, I only need to do this. I need to make sure that these 3 tasks are done today. Okay, I need to make sure that I have time for doing this. It's really about compartmentalizing and maybe picking a day to do these specific things throughout the week and making sure you give yourself the deadlines. But sometimes, emergencies come up, things come up, or you don't want to be staunch, but you don't want to be so flexible. So you want to make sure, okay, I know at this time this is the deadline, this has to get done. However, I know that somebody called me up and told me, oh, this is a fashion show, it's the day before my birthday, do you want to do this? I saw someone on IG, we have a vending opportunity, right? We're doing it this Sunday and it's now Friday, and I'm like assessing, do I really want to spend this $200 and do it? But there is an improv, right? There's a give and take, but I think you also have to be zero focused about what you want. I think that's the biggest thing when you pick opportunities and pick what task is more important. So right now, it's like I have my design career is important and my clothing brand is important. So both are important to me. So I really just treat them as it's a partnership. I got to make sure to divvy the same amount of time that I do for my clothing for this. And if I can coincide it and do the same thing, or make sure to use the same programs or whatever I do to help my workflow. Like, I've been using this designer software called Quinnell. I know everybody loves Canva, but it's a little better for shirt designs, and I can keep all of my stuff in one place. So if I need to download it, do this, I ain't got to worry about it's on this drive, it's on this. And also, it gives me the settings where I know how to make it print ready. So when I print out, my DTF, because I transition from DTG to DTF. Now I can just seamlessly do that, have my person print out everything, and then we press what we got to press. That's the process for now until we can, elevate it to manufacturing. So
I love it. And I'm looking forward to being a part of the process with you to get that going and expansion. You talked about just like scheduling your day, and and I am a big component of that. Like, every part of my day, I feel like I am always trying to schedule, like, my lunch break is like on my schedule, like going to the gym, taking a break, like all of that stuff. Especially when you're an entrepreneur, you have to have those things in place, because there are always things that are going to be, like you say, kind of eating at your time. And it's like, do I want to do this versus this? Which one is going to yield me to my end result? And one of the things that has been impressed upon me is to highlight values. So I'm curious to hear what you would say some of your values are. What are things that you value?
What are some things I value? I value community. I value my time. I now value my mental health.
Come on now.
And I value, I can say, my art. I value my ability and my vision. These are the things I can say that I value now. You asked me 5 years ago, I would not have a question. I probably wouldn't have an answer for you. But but now, because I've learned, I really be doing stuff. Because I just always been feeling, it's coming from like childhood and stuff, like not always getting the reassurance from parents and stuff like that. It manifests into feeling like I gotta do the most because it doesn't feel like I always do enough and not always getting. But I've had to realize that sometimes it is just me and God. And it was like that for a long time, like politically urban. People was just like, what? Everybody kept saying, is everything just based on you talking about the election, right? I'm like, politics is in everything we do. Like, it's like, really? You gonna make this brand? Like, really? Like, you gonna just it's like, you gonna target, you never target just one people. It's just so many doubts, so many this, so many that. You just have to know what you want, be focused, understanding that I don't know what anybody's religious belief is, but knowing whatever it is, the higher power you believe in, the thing that you believe is over you, that this is what you're placed to do. You're part of the piece of the world. You can't solve every problem, right? But you know the wisdom to know what you can change and cannot change, and what your piece of creating a better world is. And just be aboard with the tribe that's going to help you get there. Criticism is okay, but at the end of the day, criticism has to come with a helping hand. If it just comes with an open mouth, you probably should just drown it out. Damn, I didn't know that really rhymed. Anyway, so
look at you! You about to add rhyme on the platform as well. I definitely agree, and I always say I don't deal in the space of criticism. Like if you looking at criticizing, that's just where judgment comes in. If you giving me constructive feedback, now that's where you're looking to see me advance. You have me on a you see me in a different light than you just trying to come at me. Like it definitely shows up differently. So I completely I drown it out for sure. I drown out for sure. What has been your most rewarding experience since you've launched or in your prospects of launching Politically Urban?
I would say the most rewarding thing is obviously, I believe getting closer to what I believe the brand should be. And I think my personal development, and I believe that fully believing in myself and really just seeing everything materialize, because it's doing my brand has also been like a therapy thing, I've realized, for me, because it really was just me really believing it at one point. Like really like, I'm really about to do this. My family's not really entrepreneurs much. They do self-employed work, but really to say I want to build a brand, and for me to even get to the point that I'm in, like the journey I've appreciated, like really my own mental test to really like, I say I believe in God, but do I really believe that? I say that this is what my vision is, but do I really believe that? Do I, am I going to get sidetracked, compromised? Do I really believe that this is what I want? Or am I just saying that because I'm just trying to make some money, or I'm just trying to whatever? And making money is great, right? We don't want to not make money, but we want to make sure we're doing it with a purpose, right? That's why I call myself, we're a purpose-driven brand. It's not just about capital is good. You need that to do the nuts and bolts and run the business, but impact is more important. So the ability that I've also made small impacts on people, and people telling me like, yo, I can't, I went from it being just me to when we was at the photo shoot recently, people was like, yo, I see what the brand is. Like, I can't wait till it grows. Like, I appreciate the opportunity to have me model, be a part of it. It's like, dang, something I created from my head, this head, the kid from Yonkers, the kid that was shy, that didn't speak much, has no background in this, is now seeing the light in people's face that, I can do this. It's like, wow. I would say the journey, the personal development that it's done for me, the growth that it's helped me really do, and for it to now be put on other people and be like, yo, you right there. And I'm like, yo, we right there.
right there. Yeah. And it's funny to think that something that they say the faith of a mustard seed, right? The small little seed that might be in your brain, to see it actualize and actually come to fruition is like awe-inspiring. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't believe that this is actually happening. So I am glad to hear that is something that I'm not the only one that's in space that like sees something, writes it down, and makes it happen. I definitely think that's one of the things that really attracted me to inviting you to be a part of our board. And I'm gonna jump in a little bit in that space and try to get in your head publicly, right? What unique perspective do you feel like you bring to the table as a Juneteenth member?
I think, what can I say? What thing that I would say I bring? I think I bring what can I say? I bring my own sense of artistic energy. I think I bring the vision of seeing an actual middle ground, the actual connector, because I think I've also learned through over the years of whether it's either I know the person or if I don't know it, bringing the people together. But I think also really embodying the full concept of community, like really believing that and not just believing just in self-interest. I think really thinking about really wanting to be a part of this team, being a team player, and be willing to be able to be innovative in new ideas, but also being able to answer to leadership. I think bringing a new way of fashion, because I know many people look at, I would say, couture when they look at fashion shows, but saying like, no, like streetwear, eco-friendly streetwear, that has a message just as much as, sewing and putting a garment together. And we also care about, fabric too, like GSM. Like, I'm not just doing this on Gildan shirts or just something I can find in a corner store. Like, I know what 6 ounces is. I know what GSM is. I know what the ounces of the shirt is. I understand collar. I understand. Like, I've done my research. I know brand. I know, Supina cotton. I know Supima cotton, ring spun cotton, whether it's combed, the feel of it, boxy. Like, I've done my own research. We not just because we're doing a way of art doesn't mean I took out the craftsmanship. And that's another thing. Like, in the details, like, I'm willing to look at the details and not just be like, let's just put out whatever. Like, no, we have to make sure that our representation. Yes, I'm a Black business, and I go. And everybody asks me, why you be trying to do this so hard? Like, why you got to make sure this is in place? Because I'm like, I'm a Black business.
Yeah.
The perception is that I just thought of this in my head and that I'm just some kid that just wants to sell a product. And, I'm not really trying to embody myself, because that's what, I'm a millennial, right? But it's like, always on any younger generation is that we don't respect the craftsmanship of what before. We don't want to take it into the new. We just want to just destroy everything and create our own new way and forget the ways that got us to where we were. But I don't believe in that. I think I've been told I'm an old soul, right? But I believe in taking what worked before and you're just fine tuning it. It's generational. I believe in bringing in the concept of we need to have generational thinking. It's not you just rip away what grandmother told you. It's you take the bits and pieces and you apply it to new ways and you keep it growing like generational wealth does, right? You don't just dismantle the structure. No, you take the structure of what it was and you just build on it as things adapt, as time progresses, as anything.
That's a good one.
So, yeah. Hopefully that answers the question. Sometimes.
Yeah, you did. Definitely. And you got a lot of people. Some people have been putting some questions, some comments. You got some people. I am fuzzing fit on here. Yay, Q. He is one of the best in the business. Big ups to you.
Yes. It's one of my real good, really, really good. Really
John Who 9. Do you like DTF over DTG?
From a business perspective, yes. I don't know if we want me to get into that, but like from a business perspective, I would say DTF is the new way to go. I would say. I can get into it if you want me to get into it, unless you want to go to the next.
It's a foreign language to me. Hopefully, Don Hunan got the. Y'all can connect offline for sure. Enrique Cruz 95, was it a real Black event, or was it more of an event to get something out of it? I think that was in reference to to the event that you were saying that you were participating in, that had a $2,000 artwork and people weren't purchasing items and stuff like that. So
no, it's a Black event. It has our name in it. Like I said, I just don't want to put our people.
Just because it has our name in it, don't mean it's a Black event. Now we have so many people like. You got white people putting on Juneteenth events, and I'm looking at them like, wow.
I haven't seen that. That is interesting. But no, it is run by us. No, it's a brother and sister. Okay, let me clarify. It is a brother and sister art show company. I'm not gonna give it away.
No, don't give out the tools. Don't give out the nuggets. Don't blow nobody up. You know, we want to cover our brother and sisters.
Yeah.
In just, you know, give them the grace. We hope that they get to hear this and they get to make some changes, because again, not criticism, right? It's about constructive feedback, how we can help them too. And I hope you were able to give them feedback, because I'm always in that space too. I'm like, if we, especially when we're in spaces with each other, what can we do to give each other feedback so that we can, and you know, we can be better at whatever we're doing. And I always say, take it or leave it. You know, and it's funny because I've gotten most of my friends because I've told them the truth. I'm like, sis, like, you know, see the cupcake that you made? Like, everybody was boasting about how good it was, but like, it was a little dry to me. Like, I think try something, this and that. You know, you can take it or leave it, but you know, it is what it is. And then the next thing I know, they like, so I made some new cupcakes. I want you to come and try them out, because like, you the only one that gave me real feedback. Everybody else is just like, oh yeah, you doing great. And it's like, yeah, when I tasted it, I felt like it was dry too, but everyone, so it's like, sometimes, you know, and I've been in that space too. When you have a strong personality, people do not want to give you feedback because they're like, oh, you know it all, or you already, or somebody else is already giving you that information. And I'm always telling people, let them know, like, let people know, because you don't know who's in their corner, or if they got a bunch of yes people in their corner, or if they got people who are really in their corner that's going to tell them. And that's why I surround myself with people who are going to challenge me, because I don't need the yes people. I've had that in my life, and it doesn't serve me. And so I'm looking for people that's like, no, are you going to come in and be your authentic self wherever you are? That's the type of people that I want encamped around my circle. So that part. So let me go down to it's happening, Q, and we're all excited for you and proud of you. And then someone was just, I guess, sharing quality, talking about the quality. I think we was talking about the different types of fabric when you were mentioning different types of fabric, they were talking about quality. All right. So now we went over that. I wanted to make sure we got out the way all of the people. We're thankful for everyone joining us and being a part of this conversation. A couple more questions that I have for you, really about your goals for Politically Urban. Can you share what they are and what do you see in the next 5 years?
Hey, the immediate goal is to do all this post-production work, the video, the photo shoot, getting all the content ready, because that's also the thing about this internet thing. Like, there's no such thing as too much content. But when you're getting content, you have to edit it, polish it. You need, like I said, you need a team. You need that. I've built like my small little team. Like I know you know Stacy, you know, as far as with the Vanilla Foundation. So she's basically my manager. Well, she is my manager. She just came on there like a couple months, and she's helping me really construct what I need for the brand. She's helped on the vision and everything like that. And so really building a team. I have freelancers, some that help me with different things now, but they're not really physically here. So I'm really trying to get some people that I can physically talk to that can really help out the brand, get some interns. I also like to impact, if we can get some of the local colleges. I know Berkeley has a lot of fashion programs, trying to get them involved, the youth involved. And we currently right now operate from print on demand. I have to relaunch, I have to redo the website, put all the new content up, and really just the year 2025 is really just the year of marketing. We're not really going to do too much creating of our designs. I mean, I've done a lot of creating for the shows. I've done a lot of creating. We got a lot of stuff, a lot of designs, a lot of things. So now it's just the year of getting pushed into magazines, local magazines. There's a platform that I am connected to that can help me get into certain publications, getting write-ups, because I know people love social media, but press is still really good to go because that helps with your SEO. If you don't know what SEO is, optimization. And SEO actually, depending on how you look at it, is more impactful than social media ads, because your website, people don't understand that social media and your website are two different entities. They just can work together. But if your SEO is great, I mean, how do you think companies that don't do content, how do you think they're making money? You know, some people pay certain keywords to, get higher in the search engine, but some people it's just organic. It's just your keywords are matching up. You got all these people talking about you, kind of like how social media works, that word of mouth. And that's how you can grow. So increasing our SEO, because really, if you set it properly, you won't really have to look for your customer ever again. That's what they don't tell you. Social media, you have to keep investing the money for the ads. You have to keep investing in content. You get a good article about you, that can last you for some years. Like, you get a write-up about you can make some money just because your name was in this public or these multiple people for a while. There's people I know that got businesses because somebody wrote an article about them and they're still running to this day, and then you keep your referrals going. So our SEO, really getting that strong and tight and really pushing that organic. We do want to do more, curated pop-ups that we know what our target audience would be there, but it's really just really growing the marketing. And then we may dabble into ads. I'm really not too keen on it, but we'll obviously be doing shows. I want to, hopefully, I know I'm a board member. I don't know if it's cheating to be in the Juneteenth show. I don't know if it's cheating. If it's cheating, it's all good. It's all good. I understand. Politics, you gotta understand. You gotta show democracy. You can't show nepotism. You gotta show democracy. But really doing those shows, and really just increasing our online presence and using AI, because we're gonna be doing that for our really getting a system going where, like, I don't have to always manually post. It's already done in a constructive time. And really just, we got Black History Month coming up. Well, not recently. We got Black Friday, we got Christmas, we got Black History Month. We'll do some small drops for like big holidays, but the real goal is to really figure out our marketing system and do it at a passive way where I don't have to be so engulfed in it, because I want to work. I don't want to work in the business. I want to work on it. So,
and that's the way you're supposed to be. To be honest, you are supposed to be working on the business, not in it, and working to get people to support the in the business part. So definitely hope that we can work things to where you have some of those things in place for you. But I know we are running short on time. We got 5 minutes left. We want to wrap things up a little bit. Talk if you can just share quickly what are some advice that you would give your any young creatives or anyone looking to turn their passion into a business.
I would tell them, know who you're targeting. If you're not financially literate, I would say whether it's learning about credit, saving, I would say make sure you do that, because like I said before, it's better to make mistakes with money than without. I would say to make sure you map out and create a plan for not just right now, but where you want to be. And I would encourage you to get a mentor, somebody it'd be nice for them to be really aligned, like to the point where they've done your business exactly. It's kind of hard, but I would say don't hesitate on finding a mentor. If it's not your family, if it's not your parent, if it's not somebody in your immediate person, I would say whether it's reaching out, but that's going to help you because they can help you with the pitfalls and mistakes along with the other things. I don't want people to compartmentalize all that stuff. I want you to bring it all together because I think people do that too. It's like, oh, just do this one thing and we good. No, you got to make it a system. Create your own system based on your experiences, your talents of how you want to run your business, how it can work for you, know who you're targeting, really understand your numbers, whether it's you got to, work a certain job or make a certain type of income, save and maybe invest it, or make sure you also look at your personal credit to see if you can get other people's money, business credit to help you maybe get certain big expenses paid for, but really also map out what you need and why you need it. And don't let anybody rush you. Don't let the market rush you. A saturated market is just a way of people saying that they don't want to try something. Just go out and do it. Like, nobody can do what you can do. There's only one of you. There's never going to be a you created. There's so many people doing clothing brands, but they're never going to do it how I do it. There's never going to be another politically urban, and that's the point. And just because you're the most talented doesn't mean you're going to make the most money. But it does mean that your people that you're trying to target will be impacted. And hopefully in this capitalistic, it's never enough, greed culture that is put into, hopefully you can find the understanding to appreciate that.
I love that. I love that. That was a mouthful, but I definitely love everything that you shared. No, and I'm hope we gonna package it up because we want to share that to our young people so that they get that as well. And last question for us is, what does Juneteenth mean to you?
Juneteenth to me celebrates. It celebrates. What can I say? It celebrates the day of freedom, but what can I say? It outlines how it's like, okay, our shackles are free physically, but now it's like we have to kind of repair ourselves and grow mentally and take those shackles off and show that while we've been able to survive, it's now time to figure out and create time, space, platforms, and grow from that, and really getting into us, I would say, healing from the past, because it brings the history of the horrible past, but not sitting in it, but taking the past and saying, okay, how can we catapult into the future and grow, and not strip ourselves of our culture to try to fit into certain spaces and corporate places because of money and resources. Really having to say, okay, this is our culture, this is what is important, this is what has kept us surviving. We want to build on that and not rip away from it because we want to, I guess, maybe a lack of a better word, integrate into this American, whatever the hell it is, society, republic, whatever you want to call it, and just hold on to what our culture is and be okay with self-determination and being different and being the oddballs out, and understanding that nobody being like you is a blessing. It's not a curse. Like, just understanding that creating our own is not alienating. It's not self-hatred of everybody else. It's just an embodiment to preserve our gold, our greatness, our IP, to leverage it to make sure that our generations have a better life than what we've had, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that definitely makes sense. Just putting more better into the world, having a piece of pie. Like, I love all of that that you shared. Quinnell Williams, it has been a blessing to have you on our show. We are very thankful for you being here on today. I hope you get to go back and rewatch this and just hear yourself. I always find that to be so rewarding in itself. To just hear the different levels on which you have been successful. So we thank you. We are excited to have you on board to be a part of our advisory board for Juneteenth for this coming year. And are there any last words that you want to share before we head out and we do our closing remarks?
Just, I appreciate every single body who came to the live. I appreciate being on the Juneteenth team. I appreciate all the things that are for me that are not working against me. I appreciate all the help and support, and thank you for being here. And this is actually like I said, I appreciate this interview a lot, and like I said, we're going to keep growing from there. And you already know, however I can help, I'm here.
Most definitely. Let's put up Quinnell's information again so we can connect. If you want to connect to him, follow him on his different channels on Instagram. Let's go out and support him. Thank you very much, Quinnell. I'll see you back behind stage so we can close out and hear a little bit from you afterwards. So thank you. Next, I do want to share a little bit of information just about, so we were talking all about business and in different aspects, and just wanted to share a little bit about our, one of my companies, something that I think I had shared earlier, that we have been working tirelessly behind the scenes to work on as the AR business expansion, where you have your business and you're able to expand it so that you can grow it to different heights. We talk about transforming, just like we just talked about in this space. We talk about cutting edge platforms. How do you create things so that you have order? So how do you multiply yourself? How do you be in spaces so that you can you not have to do everything on your own? And like that is such a challenge in so many different spaces. So if you are interested, we do have limited spaces available. Please go to the QR code. We only take a certain amount of people per week that we do interview. This is for a selected group of individuals who we want to help see advance. So if you're interested, scan the QR code, take a screenshot, reach out to us in DM so that we can see how we can get you set up. So that is one. Next, we have an event coming up. We are in Health Month, like we shared a little bit earlier, which is our Gold Wellness Alzheimer's fundraising fair. We're going to be doing some exercise. We're going to be having some conversations. And this is not just for people who have or have family members who have Alzheimer's. If you have anyone in that space of end of life or care that you're a caretaker for them, this is the event for you. People who are helping family members with dementia, Alzheimer's, cancers, any kind of work where you are the main caretaker for your family. We want to be able to give you some tools so that you can walk away feeling empowered. At the end of the day, that is our goal with Juneteenth NYC, is that you walk away feeling empowered. To attend the event is well worth $35, if not more, what you're going to be getting walking out of that space. Think of it of like a spa day. You're going to get some pampering, some nice walk-away, some gifts. And we have a lawyer that'll be on the premises that'll be talking to you about like your wills and stuff like that. Like I was just talking to one of my sisters the other day, and we were just talking about how we don't find out what we need until we're in the space of needing it. And at that time, it's too late. So we definitely want you to join us for this event. The QR code is there. You can also go to our website, which is juneteenthny.com, to get more information if you go to our event section. So follow us, go to our website, follow us on social media. We are on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We are on LinkedIn, all of those spaces, just to find out a little bit more about us. We're on YouTube. Look at some of our past videos, get to know some of the other people who have come through our Lunch and Learns. You will be blessed. Trust me when I say that. So we are excited. Again, we hope to see you next week, Thursday. We are here, same time, same bat channel every Thursday. Don't forget to mark your calendars so that we can see you back then. So have a great one, everyone. And happy Thursday. Bye.
Enjoy, everybody.
What's going on, Juneteenth family?
I have to take the lead because if I don't now, when will I do it?
These are all dance groups, mixes from since
Okay,
90.
and risks are important. Risk creates results.
Make sure that you surround yourself with not only the word, but with positivity.
Foremost, for having me on for lunch and learn.
We start off by wearing all of the hats. Pun intended right there. All the hats.
But we start special needs children and civilians.
I have over 30 years plus experience as a quality professional.
We basically reconstructing what we took part in deconstruct. All the street maintenance. That's how we came up with street maintenance.
I almost had to deal with MCA Records at the age of 19.
Wait a
I also partner with other daycare. We're not in a competition yet. We're not in a competition.